This is going to hurt. It's not going to be enjoyable or fun. It is going to be stressful, and it will be the hardest mental and physical thing that I've ever done, but it's the only thing that I want to do. The first one is the second weekend of September, which is in Japan, which is its own logistics thing. And it's also pushing me because I get so stressed out about plans. You've seen that today. 1 week later, I'm gonna probably back at home in Miami, take on then Powerlifting Day. So I'm gonna do it by powerlifting rules. It won't be an official meet, but I will weigh in the morning, we'll weigh all the plates. I'll have the same time limits that you would for a full powerlifting comp. And I'm gonna try a minimum of a 7 times body weight total. The following week, and I mean pretty early the following week, we're going to fly out to Canada, and it's a 100k ultra in the Canadian mountains in Whistler, which I think they said is about 8,000 meters of elevation. And to be honest, that's the scariest bit. So it's over 3 weekends, but it's kind of less than 3 weeks. If you think we start the first one, the second one comes around, and then the third one, so it's kind of almost in like a 2 and a bit week period in September.
This is a picture of my sheep. Surprised family sheep. Way I've been usually eating to try and do this challenge has been eating a lot more, but trying to be a little bit specific, because the last time I did an Ironman, I think I didn't eat enough, and then the carryover was I was only starting to eat probably what I should eat very close to the race, and not just looking from a general like calorific percentage of like what I'm eating. This time, not just focusing on Ironman, but also the ultra and the lifting. Like the lifting is hitting my body way more than the endurance stuff. So my protein is significantly higher and my fats are higher. The reason for that is just the pure recovery. So the carbs is the energy for me, and then the protein. And I have added quite a bit of size in the past sort of like month, like from the lifting. The DOMs that I get from the lifting because of the endurance is really high. So again, protein and fats to try and combat that as much as possible. So probably at the minute I'm on like 3,500 to 4,000 calories a day, depending on what kind of training day it is. And that'll keep ramping up as we get towards doing the challenge itself. When the challenge itself comes, it's probably going to be like closer to 4,500. Which will be interesting when we're in Japan, because with my nut allergies, that's going to be interesting.
Kind of very interesting upbringing, heavily drug dependent mum, very abusive dad, grew up in a very not fun household, all kinds of stories with that. Left home very youngish, like 15, 16, just about to turn 16. Kind of worked, went through uni, joined the police, and the police was a significant part of like my personality. That's what I was. Got whisked very quickly into all kinds of things and stuff that I would get in trouble for talking in detail about, but surveillance, serious crime, was not in uniform for a very long time. Went whisked off to do all kinds of things, seen all kinds of things. Very grateful for the time that I had, but it was an intense sort of like almost like 11 years actually, like process of being in the police. Towards the end of that, started something called Battle Cancer, which if somebody's heard of me, it's probably because of Battle Cancer, to be honest, which was born from my uncle Alec, who's effectively kind of like my granddad, but not a biological granddad. He died of cancer when I was really young. Just kind of saw one of the only people who was very supportive to me as a kid. Go in and created this thing that's now grown and grown, and is sometimes a lot of pressure. Like, you start something and you have a vision for it, and it's not easy, and you take setbacks and you try and grow it. So most people have known me for articles, media, fundraising, connections to cancer, doing things in the CrossFit space. So like as an athlete, was in powerlifting, moved into CrossFit, now trying to do all other kinds of things. This past year has been very difficult, like in all honesty, just trying to establish stuff of like why I am the certain way I am, why I respond in certain ways to things. And I also think it hits most people in the mid-30s as they start to mature and look at certain stuff. Thank you to Max Cycle.
Should I just let him to his own devices here?
I think it might be more entertaining.
It might be. Especially when he goes to ride the bike. Big reveal. Here she is.
This is a wheel.
It is indeed a wheel.
This is a wheel.
The really cool thing about this case, even though it's an absolute nightmare to travel with,
Oh, it's really still kept together.
is that the bike is actually really mostly together.
Yeah.
So
'Cause
pedals
yours
are
was in
on,
some-
aero bars are on, which that's a really complicated assembly. So we did that yesterday, you missed it. But that is time saved by not having to do that. It's also a lot of stress saved. You show up to your race, especially like Scott's going to Japan later in the summer. You get over on the other side of everything that you know. There's no guarantee you'll be able to access repair parts.
The thing that's always kind of hit me, if you go and you buy yourself an expensive bike, or an expensive bike is relative to you, but it's, why would you not then make it as comfortable and as efficient as possible? And I think that was like the biggest change, is going to somewhere where I don't know anything, then telling me about what I need, telling the problems of like my size and how uncomfortable I am in certain things, or this is the challenge I'm trying to do, or the sport that I'm trying to do. And then having something made for you is really key, because you can actually change so many things, but you need someone who knows what they're doing. And also, like, Rachel just looked at me and kind of knew I was going to be an idiot, take loads of time, cause loads of problems.
Sarah Hippie showed up.
This is like a roadside repair tool without having to discard like CO2s. So charges up USB-C, and then it'll fill 2 road tires to full. That's it.
I'm going to put the bikes on the back of the truck. We're going to go check the air pressure in Jazzy's tyres and mine. Then we're going to come back here, 20-minute bike ride, 10-minute run, and get changed really quickly, head down to check in, get the gear bags, check in, but we'll take everything else with us.
Is it turning up, is it?
Oh, he's so strong.
So I wanted to try and do something where it wasn't impossible, because the impossible, people keep doing it and I don't think you can relate to it. You can be inspired by it, but I don't think you can relate to it. And I wanted people to watch this and take some tools, take some learning, identify with the dark stuff, identify with the change. And that was why I called it Everyman, to try and like do that. I wanted to start to create my own identity in what I wanted to do and how I talk, because everything's been a powerlifting identity, a CrossFit identity, a battle cancer identity, police identity, whatever. And for me, it was a chance to like really talk about what I struggle with as a person, and hopefully people can relate to that and take some stuff and go, oh, okay, well, he's learned to overcome this. And it's not even so much the physical's like a pathway to it. Like, how do I become a happier person? I'm not a particularly happy person day to day. I'm driven, but I'm not happy. Like, how do I become calmer when a plan doesn't go right? Because I'm always planning. So that's the journey and drive to try and change me as a person. And if people can see some stuff along the way that they take and grasp, that'll be really good. Plus, like I say, kind of forming an identity that I've made myself, not just assigned to me or that I dive into.
This has got a bit tight. I'm putting on some size for the lifting, and it's genuinely got quite tight. Do a little bike and cycle, same thing. We're gonna do a cycle and a very quick run, and then we need to jet to get checked in before the briefing. I'm just trying to keep eating today. When you're running around and there's so many things in like bike shop, making the bike, tires, checking in, filming, you can just forget to eat. And the biggest thing for me today is calories. Like, I'm not even tracking. I'm just kind of eating what I know I've prepared, like preparing and just having it in front of you so you can grab it and eat it. So the biggest help, like just calories, carbs, but still getting protein and fats in, because I need to recover. Like, this isn't the challenge, this is a warm-up, this is like a tester. So I need to be like thinking this is a training day tomorrow, just one with a bit more pressure on it. Some like actual long.
Yeah, I mean, like, I wanted to do a half before a full again anyway, just as a marker, to have another experience of starting in the swim, you know, to be biking around people. Also me to just measure, I had a crazy travel here. So how does my body do after crazy travel? Like, have I missed something that I can sharpen up for the next time? Food, can I sharpen it up? That's a big key piece. And also trying to make this half scary, because I've already done a full. So it's to kind of like, I see it as like a transformation point. It's like, it started now. Like, now is like the holy shit, like you've got to really work. And look, if I'm terrible tomorrow and I'm dying off, it's going to tell me and inform how I train, because I don't have long. I have 5 weeks to peak in strength, get my body ready for an ultra, and I have quite a few things in between that. So it's like a kickstart, an assessment test, and a chance to just litmus test how certain things go.
Just 10 minutes, yeah? $175 hat. Whew. I wanted to run faster than I was going to tomorrow. Feel a little pain. Yeah, that'll help. It's like a 4:45.
Nice.
Which I will not be tomorrow. 6-minute average is gonna be something I'd be happy with.
I think there's a lot. The physical side of it is not that worrying. The ultra is a little bit. An ultra run of 100k, but it's not really going to be run. It's going to be walking, running, walking, running. So I'm pretty confident of that. The other thing I think is I also can't just stop work. Trying to attain as much mental clarity and focus on it, not being worried, because I'm more of a natural worrier. I perform because I'm scared of underperforming. I don't perform because I want to perform well, and there's a big key difference in that mentality. Running for hours on end, biking for hours on end, even the lifting, the times where I sit down in between lifts to rest, thinking about stuff. So I think that's been the most tricky thing, is preparing for something, knowing that I'm going to be in my head even more, looking at myself in good, bad, other ways, remembering so many things. That's what's hard. But that's a message that I want to get across to people, that it is hard, but it's probably good that it's hard, and it's good if you can go through it, because you're going to be able to change something about yourself or about how you interact or treat other people on the flip side of that. And that's the main point of the challenge for me, is it's not to show off. None of these times and results is going to show off. I just want to try and create content and storytelling around it to be look, he's trying, and he's looking and changing about the person that he is. Whether that works or not, we will see.
Everybody checking in?
Yes, please. Yes, thank you. Thank you very much. Next one, going to. So my timing tip.
Your chiming chip.
Mate, I have travelled 3 different time zones to be here. It is my timing chip. It's gonna go around my ankle. All right, then. Thank you so much. Got me at 4:03, so you just put 4:03 in the app. Very much. So checked in and also gone through the process of the briefing. So the briefing was really good. You can read the athlete guide as much as you want, but they give you some little tips and tricks, particularly because there's different transitions. So the first Ironman that I did, everything was at the same transition. So the run, the swim, everything. Here there's multiple. So you gotta leave bags in different areas, know what different bags is for what. Check-in was really fun. Everyone here is the nicest volunteers. You got your t-shirt, your bag, your chip timer, it's the most important thing. Get your swim cap, because you're gonna keep that to try and look cool afterwards. The number's 4:03. I really wanted to be sub 6 hours, but from what they've told me about the bike course, I really don't think that's gonna happen. I'm gonna go up a dam. Hopefully you'll get to see that. But the run course is gonna be flat. So, swings and roundabouts. But it was really good. The biggest thing we've come into an Ironman event is that they hold your hand. Even on course, there's signs, there's people, there's volunteers, there's checkpoints constantly along the way. Especially the run, they're every mile. On the bike, I think they're every 3 or 4 miles. So you're never gonna get lost. You're never gonna not have nutrition, know what to do. And they're just the nicest. It's kind of why you're being so nice? What's going on? And then when you're in the pain the next day, you're this is why you're being all so nice. So we're gonna go prep some bags, drop them off where we need to, look at dropping the bikes off. And I need to eat, I need to drink something. It's been way too long since I did that.
Yeah, so supplement, I'll start first. I actually don't take that many supplements. I kind of looked and changed just before the Miami Marathon, we did something where it was the marathon, it was Wodapalooza as an elite CrossFit comp, the next weekend, the Miami Marathon. So it was like this first, what can I do back to back kind of stuff. Started working with a company called Row. It's like a liposomal vitamin. In all honesty, and it's absolutely no bullshit, the creatine was like transformation for me. I'd really struggled to add size back on after the Ironman, like muscle. And then trying to flip straight back into CrossFit was really, really hard to add muscle on and be explosive because my legs were just dead. I was so used to just this zone 2 plod. That was a massive game changer, and added in some different stuff from like a recovery side. So the guys at Row were really wonderful, particularly around recovery, anti-inflammation, and touch wood, I have had no injuries so far, like particularly in the past month or so. Nutrition's like an interesting one. Like I've really tried to just have a lot of food. I started working with Huel, which is great, like particularly for their energy drink, but for some bars and meal replacements, which is good for fitting in gaps where I can't get whole food, because it's as close as I'm going to get to whole food and very natural ingredients. Another company I've been working with called Nutri Meals, they do like meal prep, but they also do bulk options, which has been amazing. So in the fridge, I've got like bulk cooked steak, sweet potatoes, rosemary potatoes, rice, veg, and trying to force the increase in calories from real food, where the last time was all snacks. I was just getting it in from snack bars, carb drinks. This has been a big change for me to eat real food. Trying to squeeze that in between calls, work, travel. Nutrition always slips. My sleep and nutrition always slips, because I'll be really disciplined with training and I'll sometimes train when I probably should sleep and eat. But my head's like, no, I need to train. So that shift has been better. And I'd say in the last month, I've added like a good 2 kilo of muscle without losing any kind of like, I've not really got fat with it.
So my nutrition. So I'm gonna pack in here the nutrition that I'm gonna keep with me on the bike, and also something that I'm gonna have like transitioning. So it's a good chance to like eat something. So we have, so for me and my stomach, like trying to eat as much on the bike is great because I don't feel like eating a lot when I'm running. Similar with fluid, I want to try and take on as much fluid as I can on the bike. It's also a good chance to be able to eat. You can control it, stick it in the back of your tri-suit. The goal for me is about 80 grams of carbs per hour, so like 80 to 100, just so what I burn, to make sure I've got enough to try and attack the run and not like fatigue out. It's going to be a mixture. I've got a protein bar in there. That's what I'm going to eat between the swim and then getting on the bike. The Cliff Sour Blocks. I've got caffeine, a gel with caffeine, a gel without caffeine, and then I have these Nature's Bakery. They're nut-free, peanut-free, sesame-free. They're about 30 grams of carbs each, and I've got 3. So actually I've got 30, 60, 90. That's another 30, so I've got 120. Another 30 is 150, another 30 is 180. There's like 10 of there, so there's 190, so there's 190 grams. The bike is going to take me at least 2.5 hours, so the rest of those carbs are going to come in the bottles. So I'll probably have a Morton and as well as maybe a Gatorade in one of my bottles, so another 80 to probably 100. So I know I've got 300 grams of carbs. That's going to cover me if the bike did take 3 hours with these hills, we'll kind of see. So they're all going to go in here ready, so I can just shove them in the tri-suit in the morning. Now the run one, my runners. So I've got the Alpha Fly 3. They just take a lot out of your running in terms of helping your quads and your hamstrings. They're made to make you go faster, but for me, they're made to make me go easier, / a little bit faster. So runners are gonna go in there. Then I have a number of gels. So I've got 4 gels. The aid stations are every mile, so it's really good to be able to pick up things like fruit. You can pick up like Coca-Cola, Gatorade and water, and I have like a routine that I'm going to go through for that, which is on one aid station I'm going to have 1 water and Coca-Cola. On the next aid station I'm going to have 2 Gatorades and a water, so I'm going to keep kind of going through those. Big learning lesson from the fall was I did not drink enough. Super bad pain when I was trying to pee. It was really horrible for like about an hour and a half, so I want to avoid that this time. But I'll just have gels on the run, I'm not going to eat them. So gels will go in there, wash. The stuff in the morning is going to be my goggles, my wetsuit, and I'll have my Garmin on underneath. I'll have my Whoop and my Garmin. But for the bags, that's pretty much everything other than loading up my belt. So I'm going to load up my belt, zip this up, drive back down to that transition, hang it up, and then we're going to go down to drop the bikes off.
The training's been really interesting because I did a high rocks, but that was very CrossFit and just more running anyway, but that was not that long after the marathon. And I've had to try and flip to really reduce like CrossFit, but that brings me a bit of joy because it's like fast and your brain goes away. So now, you know, I train Most weeks a 7-day split. I don't really have days off. Some weeks, depending on the volume, I'll try and have a day off, but it's pretty much 7 days. I'll swim 2 to 3 times a week, and that's not been for volume, it's been for technique and drills, because I'm such a bad swimmer. I'm just so inefficient and I'm not very fast, so that's something that needs to be worked on. Running, I try and do a fast run session, a long run session, which every week I've added 30 minutes on. So now we're running up to sort of like 3 hours in a block, which is difficult in Miami with the heat. So a lot of it's been treadmill, and then now I've also evolved treadmill into the stepper to get ready for like walking up big hills. And then the lifting's been hard. Like, I've been obsessed with killing my legs. If my legs can be depleted and I'm running, if they can be depleted and I'm cycling, then when they're fresh, they're going to carry me through and they're going to be used to this volume. Because you can't train to do an Ironman into a powerlifting comp into an ultra. Like, you can't, but you can prepare it for like the damage it's going to do to kind of get you through. And that's been my thing. It's been like, okay, can I just be prepared enough? So the strength has been increasing. I followed Boris Shako, who's like one of the highest ever like result orientated coaches in powerlifting. He's had the most world champions. One of my last ever comps was in front of Boris Shako as a head judge, following his program, which is actually quite gentle. You don't do a lot above 85%, but you do a lot of sets and a lot of reps. Trying to like manage when my legs are sore. So Monday, my legs are sore through to Thursday. But I'm still running on them, biking on them, but trying to not be explosive. Still been doing ollie lifting. Like, that's been supplementary to the powerlifting stuff. But yeah, it's 3 lifting days a week, 1 CrossFit day, 2 or 3 bike sessions a week, 2 to 3 swims, minimum of 3 runs, bodybuilding bit just for sanity, but also like joint health and other kind of stuff. And it's been heavy, man. Like, I haven't had a life. It's been train, work, eat, train, work, eat. So, all the bikes for us to steal. Tonight, minions, we steal the bikes. Yeah, I don't know is the answer, because I know what it used to mean, and it used to not mean a lot. Like, if I did something, men's health cover, how do you feel? It's all right. Invitation to Buckingham Palace because you raised this X amount of money, how does that feel? It's all right. Like, I've been very numb to everything. And I've been numb to where it's like an accomplishment or an achievement. And there's a ton of reasons that sit behind that. So I'm just hoping that at the end of it, and it won't happen that day, but I can sit down and look at what I've written about this process. I can formulate a way to be proud of myself, because I never have been. And that's all like, oh, boohoo, so woe is me. Like, but I didn't. I never had parents that were proud of me. I had parents that was the total opposite. Everything wanted to be destruction in your life. I want to try and get to a point where I can make myself proud of the person that I am, not just what I've done. And I think that's the reason I want to do it. I want to try and like use this as a way to change myself as a person, so that at the end point I can be like, oh, hey, you can be a different person. But you can still be high performing. You can still have achieved something, but you can do it not through just pain and anger and stress and so I don't know. I just kind of hope that if I can talk about things that I've changed about myself through that period, I'll make myself proud of the person that I am and can still become, and then start to look at success in a different way and not see it as not failing. Because I see success as not failing, not success. And I think those two mental things are very different. And then see what we can do on the next one.